Legendary sound designer Ben Burtt built the sound of Star Wars from nothing. His career started with A New Hope in 1977 and finished with The Force Awakens in 2015. In this period of time, he has produced a library of over 5,000 sounds. These aid the visuals in creating a galaxy that audiences really believe exists far, far away. In this essay, I will discuss the techniques Burtt uses to create these sound effects and how this makes Star Wars so unique without audiences realising. I will also analyse how he has used sound to create meanings and links throughout the film series. Even without his work on Rogue One and The Last Jedi, the classic Star Wars sounds are still preserved, although some things have changed. I will also look at how the sound design has developed, and if this is due to culture change or to aid new meanings. Burtt's method of sound design is so experimental and demonstrates his sheer brilliance when it comes to creativity. To begin, I will analyse this scene from The Empire Strikes Back. Luke and Vader are battling on the bridge when suddenly Vader slices Luke's hand off. I chose this scene as it is interesting to see how sound is used to create a sense of space and unease as Luke's demise seems imminent. This scene is vital in the audience's understanding of the sheer size of the Death Star. The atmosphere used is similar to the sounds you would hear from inside a house during a howling storm. When placed with this scene, it gives the audience a feel for the size. Everything echoes and continually bounces off the harsh walls. The inside of the station is like a wind tunnel, and the sound used demonstrates this perfectly. For me, it also foreshadows Darth Vader's arrival. The low frequencies and tone almost mimic Vader's breathing. Vader is frequently heard before he is seen, and this continues this trend in a more abstract way. With the atmos alone, the scene is established and the future events foreshadowed. Danger is imminent. It should also be noted that the sound accompanies the cinematography perfectly. The deep blue tones are sinister as it's a howling, echoing wind. When Luke begins to walk inside, the atmosphere becomes quieter and the Foley more prominent. The footsteps and clothes rustle help relate the audience to Luke and build tension. By hearing his every move, we are following along with him in every step. As he gets closer, the footsteps get louder, and this could also imply something is getting closer to him. Increasing sound builds tension even if it is something subtle like footsteps. The way the atmos has been altered to suit the new surroundings is also very powerful. It sounds like modulation has been added. This has kept the wind atmosphere but also created a spaceship-style sound. The sound is striking when Vader enters the scene. If listening closely, we hear him before we see him. He is defined by his chilling sound. Without the sound that Burtt crafted for Vader, he may have had a completely different impact. He was made to sound more robot than human by including mechanical aspects. The iconic breathing was created by putting a microphone inside a regulator, a part of scuba gear, to create his mechanic breathing sound. The sound is similar to how you hear people breathing on regulators underwater, slightly tinny and fragmented. The sound is particularly effective during a fight scene like this one. The short bursts of breath are sharp and feel dangerous. They overpower Luke's breath and imply Vader is stronger because he has mechanic strength. As he comes closer to the camera and Luke, they become louder and sharper. Paired with the atmos, this creates a sense of impending doom. Another classic sound effect in this scene is the lightsaber. When briefed on Star Wars, Lucas told Burtt he wanted an organic soundtrack. He wanted the spaceships, the weapons, the vehicles to sound as if they were real, rather than go in the direction that many science fiction films had done prior to Star Wars in the electronic tonality direction. Burtt took this on board when creating the lightsaber. By using such unique techniques, Burtt has created a sound that is iconic and will live forever in film history. The way the sound is mixed is also captivating. By panning the sound in the direction of the movement, it fully immerses the viewer in the film. They feel as if they are there, following the movements through the use of sound. When they exit the interior, the camera goes wide and the sound reacts to this change, distancing the sabers but increasing the atmos. This creates a feeling of weakness, as not only does Luke look small in relation to his surroundings, but he also sounds small. The overall sound of this scene works great in creating a sense of danger and mystery. Burtt wasn't involved in Rogue One, and it is intriguing to see how his legacy has influenced the film. It shows the Star Wars universe with more grit and war. The feel of it is distinctly different to the original trilogy. Without direct input from Burtt himself, it is interesting to see how his legacy still lives on, and the reason why the sound has developed in the way it has. Supervising sound editor Christopher Scarabosio summarises when he says,
"Our chance to come up with some new material that lives within the Star Wars legacy. So the challenge was to come up with some sounds that were our own, that represented our aesthetic, and but that fit within the legacy of the Star Wars sound."
I have chosen to look at the scene, Darth Vader attacks. In this epic scene, rebels become trapped and Vader strikes them down. I want to compare this scene with the previous and look at the techniques used to create suspense, fear, and battle sounds. I want to look at how and why some sounds have developed and how some certain techniques have stayed the same. After the door has locked, the rebels know they don't stand a chance. We know Vader is coming, but it's the cinematography and sound working superbly in unison that make us fear his arrival. The use of the siren is haunting. After the foley of the rebels' movements and creaking stops, the atmos becomes quieter but deeper, and this makes the siren cleaner, and this is what we focus on. The footsteps then start but sound distant. We know his arrival is imminent. The atmos and siren create a fear for the unknown. It uses a different technique to Empire. Instead of having Vader jump out, in Rogue One we know for a fact he's there. By introducing his footsteps and breathing, his presence has already been revealed. We already know the rebels are doomed, and by having footsteps that are slowly coming closer, it makes it even more terrifying. They know there is no way out, and the suspense only makes it worse for them. And as an audience, we are on the edge of our seat. We also hear Vader before we see him. His classic mechanical breathing starts while he is in the darkness, showing links back to the original films. In this particular scene, it is important to note he fully exhales his breath. This shows he is calm, opposed to the rebels. This adds to the fear and suspense. He is confident they do not stand a chance. Everything about Rogue One is darker, and I think this also shows in the sound of the lightsaber. Compared to the original trilogy, it undoubtedly has a cleaner sound due to technological advancements. It also sounds significantly deeper and uses less high frequencies. For me, this adds fear to the sound. It makes it look and sound more dangerous and darker. In terms of the sound Burtt created, it still makes use of the same technique, the whirling around following the movement and the panning, but it does have a different feel and mood. The violence in Rogue One sounds more realistic than the violence in the original trilogies. I think this development in the sound was perfect for Rogue One. It was much more of a war film, and the sound needed to be more fierce and gritty.
We started departing from some of the traditional legacy sounds of impacts on either stormtroopers or surfaces, and we started putting in more realistic actual battle sounds of instead of a laser hitting something, it was more like a bullet. And when a bullet hits something, there's a big impact and there's usually some debris that's involved. And once we started putting more of those type of sounds, we realized that it became a lot more realistic. And Star Wars films traditionally are kind of lighthearted, and you know, there's dark moments.
Even in this scene where there is only a small corridor, it sounds like there is a real battle taking place. There are sounds of gunshots all over the place that add to the disorientation. The impacts of the deflected lasers sound like a bullet impacting on real skin. All of the Foley elements and ADR add to the soundscape to create a realistic battle scene. Burtt's legacy has clearly shone through in Rogue One. The sounds he created make Star Wars what it is and always will be. However, the story is darker and less focused on the comedy and adventure aspects. The sounds had to develop to suit the feel of the film, and this was imperative to the story.